Dimitra's Dishes. So today I'm going to teach you how to make a whole wheat pizza. We've made a New York style pizza, pesto pizza, Greek style pizza, and this is a really healthy version of those pizzas with just a little different dough. Now you're going to need to watch 2 videos before you make this recipe, or at least get the 2 recipes from my blog, www.dimitrasdishes.com. You need the recipe for my whole wheat no knead dough, which is very simple to make. And then you need the recipe for my homemade pizza sauce. You don't cook it beforehand. It's really easy. Comes together in just a few minutes in the food processor with just a few ingredients. So once you get those 2 recipes ready, then you can just watch this video and kind of put it all together and bake it in the oven. It'll be so delicious and so good. Now I'm going to take you over the rest of the ingredients. You need a little bit of salt, some really good olive oil, some either semolina flour or corn flour, whatever you have in your house. It's coarse. It needs to go underneath the pizza, and it's going to give it that crunch and help it slide onto the pizza stone. You need a little bit of all-purpose white flour, and then I'm using Gouda cheese today. It reminds me of the pizza that I ate in Greece, and that pizza was so good. I used to sit at the Limani, which is the port of Crete, port of Chania, and sit at a really nice restaurant and have this very flavorful pizza, and I think they used to use Gouda cheese, so that's why I'm using it. If you don't have Gouda cheese, can't find it, don't like it, use mozzarella, that's completely fine. But give Gouda cheese a try. It tastes very, very good in this recipe. So I'm going to put the sauce on the side for now. And I have never found Gouda cheese already shredded, and besides, I like to shred my own cheese with just a plain, very inexpensive grater. It's a good thing to have in the kitchen. So we're going to begin by rolling out the dough. So I took one big cantaloupe-sized ball out that makes a pound of bread. So I'm going to cut it in half, and this is going to make 2 about 12-inch sized pizzas. So I'm going to flour my work surface. Not too much flour, just a little bit, because this is a sticky dough. And I'm going to cut this into 2 pieces, as equal as possible. Leave it on the side. Now the trick to having this dough spread out easily is leave it out for a while. If you can leave it out up to an hour, that's the best thing you can do. It's going to roll out very, very easily. I was out all morning and didn't have time to leave this out. This is in my fridge. So it might be a little bit harder to roll out than usual. But let me form this first. And since I worked with this a little bit, I'm just going to leave it on the side, because the more you work cold dough, the more it comes back together and gives you a hard time stretching out. So I'll take the second one and I'll shape it into a circle. I recommend not using a rolling pin. A rolling pin is going to get rid of those beautiful air bubbles that the yeast have created as this was sitting in the fridge overnight. And those air bubbles make the dough nice and light and airy. And if you roll them out with a rolling pin, you're going to kind of flatten them out. So use your fingers first. And let me take my ring off. And press down. Put a little bit of flour if it gets too sticky. And it should open up. But again, the closer to room temperature it is, the faster it's going to roll out. You're going to make kind of the crust border with your fingers. And then take it and stretch it using your knuckles. And if it tears a little bit, don't worry about it. Stick it back together. Okay, I'm going to leave this just for a second, just so I could talk to you about oven temperature and how important it is to have a pizza stone. And then we'll get back to putting this in the oven and baking it. So a few really important tips. First of all, pizza is made at really, really high temperatures. That's why it gets really nice and crisp and crusty on the bottom, and it gets kind of like a really delicious flatbread flavor and texture. You can't really duplicate that exactly at home, but you can make a really delicious pizza, and sometimes way better than the pizzeria's pizza. And the way you do that is you want to make sure you preheat your oven to 550 degrees about an hour before you start. You want it to be really, really nice and hot. And while it's preheating, you want to make sure you have either a pizza stone or some oven tiles. And I'm going to show you what mine look like. I've been making a lot of bread and a lot of pizza this week, so don't judge. It's kind of not as clean as it should be. But the good thing about having a pizza stone in there, you never have to take it out. You can leave it in there when you bake, when you roast. It keeps the oven temperature even in your oven all the time. And another really good thing about them is that you can just leave it, let it run while you put your oven to on the clean setting, and it'll clean the pizza stone or your oven tiles, and you never have to wash them or take them out. As a matter of fact, the more you take them out and they're subjected to like a change in temperature, that's how they crack and they kind of get messed up. So let me take you over to my oven and show you my pizza tile. Okay, so I have on my bottom rack, I have some very inexpensive tiles that I bought from my local tile shop. And that's okay if they cracked. I'm gonna be on my way over there soon to buy new ones. But you basically measure out your oven rack and then you go to your local tile shop and you buy some tiles, and that's a very cheap way to get this job done. Otherwise, you can really invest in a good thick pizza stone that will probably last many, many years if you take care of it. And you want to make sure that this is in your oven while it's preheating, because that's what's going to give your pizza that really delicious gourmet crispy crust. And now that we've got those important things covered, it's another good thing to invest in is the pizza peel. I have made pizzas with my pizza peel, which is a stainless steel or aluminum one, and it's not so good. The pizza really sticks to it. If you don't have a pizza peel, first of all, if you do buy one, buy a wooden one. But if you don't have one, you could definitely use a wooden cutting board, and that works just great. So you want to transfer it from the cutting board onto your pizza stone in your oven. And a way to guarantee that it kind of comes off easy is sprinkle some semolina flour or some corn flour, whatever you have. Put it on here. And you want to work fast, because the longer the dough sticks around, it's going to kind of stick to whatever surface you put it on. And even though wood is not as sticky as metal or as a countertop, it still does tend to stick. That's kind of how yeasty doughs, that's kind of how they roll, right? So now I'm going to put the sauce on here, as little or as much as you like. And this sauce, you guys, is so, so good. It beats any jarred pizza sauce out there on the market. It's so good, and just a few ingredients that you could put together and make at home. I'm going to pour a little bit of olive oil on here. And since there's no salt in my pizza sauce, I like to salt it right before I cook it. That way I control how much salt there is in there. I'm going to pop this in my oven, and my oven has been preheated to 550 degrees. I'm going to slide this onto my pizza stone, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to let this cook for about 7 to 8 minutes, or until it's gotten a really nice char on the bottom of it. And then I'm going to take it out and spread the cheese on. Shake it around, make sure it comes off before I get to the oven. Let me show you how easy it is to do this. Just like that. I'm going to close it really quickly and let it cook for about 7-8 minutes, or until it's gotten a nice char on the bottom. Get my flour back over here. So while that's happening, I'll put a little more flour on my counter, and I'll do the same thing with the second batch of dough that I have over here. All right, so my pizza has been cooking for about 8 minutes. I'm going to take it out. You see how it's developed a beautiful char all around? So this is the pizza peel I was talking about. It's metal, it's aluminum, so that's what it was. It's aluminum. It's great for taking the pizza out of the oven, but putting it in, it's not that good, because for some reason the dough has a tendency to stick to this as soon as you put it on here. So you literally have to work lightning speed if you get a metal one. You can go ahead and get a metal one if you want, just to pull the pizza out with. It's much easier to do than with spatulas, which I've done before I had one of these. So now, I love cheese, so I like to go heavy on the cheese. Not everyone does, but again, you're making it at home. You should make it exactly the way you and your family and whoever you're making it for wants to eat it. I like to concentrate all around, just like that. I'm going to pop it back in just until the cheese is melted and bubbly, and that could take anywhere from 4 to 5 minutes, sometimes to 6 minutes. Another trick, once it's done melting, You can turn your oven setting to broil just for like about a minute if your broiler is on top, and it's going to give that cheese like that beautiful, it's going to get like it's not burnt, but it's going to give it a very beautiful color on top and a better flavor too. But you don't have to do it. That's just if you want to get that extra yummy melted cheesy flavor. Okay, so it takes about 4 to 5 minutes for the cheese to completely melt, and when it melts, it looks like this. Okay, so guys, this is the one that has not been stuck under the broiler, and this one has, and I'm a little broiler crazy, so it got extra charred all around, but that is perfectly fine. Still gonna taste very, very good. Let's cut into this one that has been sitting here cooling for a few minutes. You see these beautiful air bubbles that the yeast have created? This is the reason the dough has to stay refrigerated overnight, and it's completely worth it. You see how light and beautiful this dough is, even though it's whole wheat, and whole wheat is supposed to be more dense, but this is not dense at all. It's just nothing less than pure delicious. Look at how this is. And now there's no reason not to eat it, especially since you have the whole wheat dough recipe. Use Gouda cheese, your favorite cheese. Put any cooked meats that you like on it, some sliced onions or bell peppers. Make it as fancy as you want or as simple as you want. Either way, it's going to be delicious. And if you want to know where to get the exact measurements for these recipes, you know where to go, www.dimitrasdishes.com. Post your comments below, and I'd love to see pictures of your recreations on my official Facebook page. The link is down below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.